We are not Sports Center. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Debate Amongst Friends. I am the Professor John Gotti. My co-host over here is Doc Leesner, the podcasting beast, and we're ready to provide you with another fun edition of sports news, analysis, and the reads.
Welcome to this edition's episode of Debate Amongst Friends. Prof, I won a game.
Are we talking NFL, fantasy?
The
game of life?
The game of life is looking pretty good there, boy. I can tell you that. It's looking pretty good there, boy. I will say I did not win any games in the EFL. I'm probably not going to win another game in the EFL ever again. And the win that I'm talking about, yes, the win of life, but I did win my fantasy this week. Fantasy Beast is my name here, and I won by the skin of my teeth a total of 5 points. I made some questionable decisions as I normally do, but actually, this is a tough week. But shout out to Kyler Murray, 2 weeks in a row, really battling it out for me. Give me 145 points out of a projected 105. Mm-hmm. And the same breath that I said, hey, I'm going to drop Juju Smith-Schuster. I didn't, and he performed pretty well. I told you off the podcast that Aaron Jones is coming back. Even on a bad calf, he still played better than some people on my bench.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey, which he dominated his return. But I think he's day-to-day with a shoulder injury now, which is pretty whack.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Washington football team wide receiver McLaurin actually gave me 36 points as well. And the Pittsburgh defense, which I expected to destroy Dallas, only gave me 35 points. But that is better than my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who only would have gave me 25. So the aforementioned Washington football team and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm not going to give them so much time, but I will say that I got the W here in fantasy. The Bucs, let's see here how I can put this. It looks like the Saints that went marching in to Home Depot to the chain section shellacked the Bucs and sent them back to Tampa for whichever hurricane is coming soon.
Which I believe is called ETA. Is the one that's
coming. Oh my God! Is that ET? Is that spelled ETA? Like
it is spelled ETA.
When are the Bucs gonna return back to where they were? ETA is yet to be determined.
So, Doc, I normally try to look at the brighter side of things when it comes
to your
bright
Bucs. Side. Oh my God!
Your Bucs played like basura.
It was like, and I told you, I only watched 2 series. I was sitting in the ale house, and I told them, hey, do you mind turning it from 60 minutes, to football night in America? And after the first drive, I'm looking at Brady's face, and he didn't even seem like he was feeling it, like the whole game plan. And then after the second drive, I was like, check, please, you can go back to 60 minutes.
That's actually funny.
Oh my God, you can turn back to 60 minutes so we can talk about voter fraud and also the crap that America's going through. But it was a really, really bad game. I got to Target, and in the drive from Ale House to Target is probably 2 minutes. It probably took all of 4 minutes to walk from the booth to the car and then get to Target. And by the time I got to the towel section, we were down 28-0.
Yep.
And I was like, what the heck? Mind you, when I left the ale house, we only were down 7-0.
Yeah.
It's like a matter of 5 minutes. We were down 28-0.
This was a rude awakening game for them.
But I felt the Giants. That's what I'm saying. I felt the Giants game was a rude awakening. Like I felt like struggling against the Giants was so sad.
struggling against the Giants, now hindsight 2020, opened up a huge dam of worries if you're a Bucs fan.
I never was confident.
Outside of Doc, of course.
Yeah, which is why
we got certain Bucs fans who's finally on the wagon.
And once they got on the wagon, it seemed to go downhill.
Yeah, Bucs fans, you got to stop. It should only be Doc.
Oh my God!
Because you're actually killing it.
On the social media front, I mean, it's so rough because, like, oh my God, it's so much negativity. Like, oh my God. I mean, you would think that we were 3-6 the way people talk. Like, we're 6-3. We're still in a pretty good spot. We just have to play better. I mean, ultimately, that's just what it comes down to.
Not even 3-6. Like, people are trolling your team like they're the defending Super Bowl champion, but they won last season due to unquestionable means kind of thing.
And then I hated the fact that people were trying to pin this on Antonio Brown. I didn't like that too much. Like, I think I saw one meme that said, I came to your team for one game and I messed up the chemistry. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Because they don't know football, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. But hopefully they play better next week. I'll go ahead and pre-clench my cheeks, I guess, because you just never know what team we're going to get.
Speaking of what team we're going to get, though, let's go to this next game, the Monday.
Hold on, before we do that.
Okay.
Let's just give a quick prayer to the Washington football team QB Kyle Allen, who ironically suffered a similar injury to Alex Smith. It was so insane that happened. Is that back-to-back seasons, or is there a season in between there?
No, Alex Smith got hurt 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. That's so crazy that leg snaps like that in Washington. I don't think I've seen it snap anywhere else like that but Washington.
I think the football team of Washington is cursed for QBs.
For that injury. So I don't know if it's something on the field or what, but they have to really, really look at either something's going on.
Well, this one wasn't as far as like a field thing. Same thing with Alex Smith. Like, it was just, they just landed awkwardly during the tackle.
I didn't think he got hit that hard. That's why it was very weird.
Well, it's not so much he got hit, but he got dragged down. He was kind of still trying to power it through, and that kind of not help anything.
Dang, man. Well, definitely prayers up to him. And,
absolutely, we hope he has a quick and safe recovery. Like, this is the part of football that we don't like.
No, that's kind of whack. Especially a year that you're just going through the emotions due to COVID, and it's just so whack. But definitely prayers up to him. But now let's move on to that Monday night game, the Patriots versus the Jets, where we almost thought that Jersey Joe
was having a little sip of that bubbly, and we don't mean a little bit of bubbly. No, we mean that fountain of youth, because he out here bombing 50-yard TDs.
Trying to hit the waiver wire.
No, he's not hitting the waiver wire, folks. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's not doing that.
But it looks like the only thing I see here, because I don't think Rashad Perriman was playing the last couple of games.
Nope.
But it looks like he came back to what we saw last season with Tampa, 5 catches, 101. Definitely want to keep our eye on him, because I know he missed a lot of the beginning of the year due to injury. Like, even though everybody on the Jets team was traded.
Yeah, everyone was on there. Their top receiver was Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, and he, I think, was he scored a touchdown yesterday, but it seemed like this was about Flacco saying, okay, guys, let's just play. Let's just have some fun.
Well, he tends to play really well against the Patriots defense, though.
True. That's true.
It's not like, oh, well, he's trash. Not like, he usually plays pretty well against Bill Belichick's defense. But it all came.
Sam Darnold a healthy scratch on this?
Or is he still? No, he's still hurt.
He's still hurt.
Yeah, okay. He's still hurt.
You don't feel seeing ghosts.
No, and I think that joke has now run its
It is
course.
kind of late.
Yeah.
So Jacoby Myers, 12 catches for 169 yards.
Mm-hmm.
After I think last week, a lot of media, especially ESPN, they were making fun of his name, obviously Jacoby Myers, the law firm, saying that the Patriots didn't have any receivers, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, I mean,
it points right back to Cam.
Because the Patriots have never had receivers, and Tom's never complained. That's why it's so interesting to see somebody like Aaron Rodgers complain, because it's like Tom's made the best of the receivers that he has by telling them exactly what he wants them to do. And that's important. It's huge. It's like, hey, if you're going to run a 10-yard out, I want you to run it at 9.5, and then once you're about to hit that 10, I want you to break out this route. And that's the kind of communication that works. But I don't know, Cam. I just don't think Cam was the right decision. And I don't know. I think he might have just got a 1-year deal.
It's still the 1-year deal.
Honestly, I still believe that Jameis would have been a better fit there, but
one of these two quarterbacks is playoff bound.
Exactly. But next game here, which one do we want to go to next? We want to go them boys. We want to go Dolphins.
No, we'll go them boys.
Here? Let's go with them boys.
So this game, we talked about this before the podcast. This game should have been, and coming down the aisle from Death Valley, The Undertaker, a.k.a. the Steelers, absolutely decimating the Cowboys. And it should have been.
Prior to Brock Lesnar.
Prior to Brock Lesnar. But then this turned into a trap game. The Steelers made the Cowboys look like they were a competent team. And after the game, the only thing I could say after this game was, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. You had a QB who got brought up from the practice squad, Garrett Gilbert, 21 38, 243, who replaced your boy, Dan DiNucci.
Duke Nucci.
And all of a sudden, the Cowboys opened up their playbook, and they're doing trickery plays and running double reverses and stuff.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I don't know. I hate the way it's scheming up, because right now, looking at the way that game played out, two things jumped out. Number one, I really like what I saw, even though I only saw the fourth quarter of the Cowboys game, which is really, really important. What I saw from Garrett Gilbert was pretty big. But the second thing that I saw that was really, really interesting, and I'm sure, Cowboy Nation might have, peeped this, but Tony Pollard was running much better than Zeke.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know what it is, but
Zeke probably just ran himself out of Dallas with the way he played this season.
Yeah, he's been so focused on Feed Me More and all of, the cereal ads and everything. And,
he's been focused on his branding that he forgot, I'm a professional running back for the National Football League, and I'm getting paid buku money to, run behind this offensive line and help, the team with the star in the hell of it, win. I still feel like this is still a game of the old America's team beating the new America's team still.
Well, yeah, that's actually perfect. That's actually perfect that you say that, because you said it last week. And how apropos that the new America's team, which I can agree with you. I think the Steelers are and have overtaken them as the team, like the team that people root for. I think it's them. Obviously, you have Patriot fans. You have the newly acquired Chief and Seahawk fans.
Yep.
Obviously, the Raider faithful and the 49er faithful. And then, of course, the Green Bay faithful.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of people who, jump teams. Like once you're a Steelers fan, it's like that's it. Like
you're a Steelers fan for life.
For life, yeah, that's it. But yeah, the Cowboys kind of just blew it. I do like the fact that they fought to the very end and really had a chance to score, but there was some really, really funky plays at the end with the offensive line.
Of course, the Cowboys fans were complaining about officiating, but I mean,
that's pretty standard.
Doc and I say it every single week, and we'll continue to say it. You never, ever, ever want a game to be decided by the guys in stripes. And we're talking about the refs.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's move on to the next game. Let's move to a fun game. Let's move to the Dolphins versus the Cardinals.
That was a fun game.
We had Tua out here telling me, "Oh, I didn't do enough, huh?
Yeah,
I didn't do enough."
I mean, so first of all, shout out to Tua Tonga for listening to the podcast as Doc was going in on him last week, and he was like, "Oh, really, Doc? Well, hold my root beer."
Hold my root beer. I mean, obviously, it was a weird game. I didn't watch all of it. This is another one that I caught the second half of.
Yeah, I would say this. The Dolphins defense played really, really well. This is their second consecutive week of getting a defensive touchdown, which is awesome. That was literally one of their biggest Achilles heels for the past couple of seasons. So the fact that they was able to do that and have some great frontline play to assist them with that, definitely put Kyler Murray on edge. I mean, is it really on edge? He still got 283 for 3 TDs still, but it's not so much as stopping him, it's trying to contain him as much as possible.
11 carries for 100 yards. The guy got me 145 points, man. I was so excited to see him just run wild. Absolutely. Even though they lost. I don't care about the loss, but 20 for 28, 248, 2 touchdowns. I mean, they didn't have the run game. Obviously, the Cardinals, they play really, really good defense. I don't think they get the credit for.
No.
But I think with the guidance of veterans, like Larry Fitzgerald, Patrick Peterson, I think they have a potential to really, really go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, so they're both at 5-3. The Dolphins knocking on the door on the Bills,
which is crazy.
And speaking of those Bills, that score 44-34 against the Seahawks, that does not explain the story behind this game. This game was over. The Seahawks was victimized, dominated, and conquered. Russell Wilson, prior to them just going all out, throwing the ball in the second half, was looking mortal.
Wow.
Okay, we always talk about Heisman moments in college football. You got to have that Heisman moment game. You got to have that Heisman game.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen had his Heisman game.
Again, probably after last week when we talked about the Bills probably moving down to trying to make the playoffs and all of this stuff. I mean, I told him I didn't believe in them, but I mean, they just showed up, man. I mean, I
think Doc needs to be much more harder on his team because obviously these other teams are doing great when he's criticizing.
I was hard on my team. I guess it's not hard enough.
I don't think it's hard enough. Then they're telling you to pick it up.
They stayed. Tom Brady needs to eat up.
But Josh Allen played an incredible game. 415 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, 31 for 38, a near perfect game, an incredible QBR as well. Devin Singletary's been a non-factor, and this is kind of weird. He's their lead back, and I think he's been trending downward. I mean, granted, they had Zach Moss run for 18 yards, but like this isn't even a story about the rushing attack at all. The rushing attack was just not existent. And I think that might be an issue for them heading towards the playoffs is them trying to establish that run. But their defense played amazing.
Also. That could be because the Seahawks are without their first two backs.
Yep.
I do like Travis Homer. I picked up DJ Dallas.
You shouldn't have done that. I would have told you not to do that.
I picked him up. Oh, he's on my bench. He actually did okay. The 7 carries for 31 yards is subpar, but
it's very subpar.
But him getting in the end zone is what makes it okay. Like, I think if he would have just had like the Bills running backs, that's outside of what Zach Moss did. Like, imagine somebody who has Devin Singletary starting. You're hardly upset.
Oh yeah, okay? Absolutely upset.
But I would have taken DJ Dallas's 12 or almost 13 points, any day of the week, because David Moore only gave me 3 points. So I could have started DJ and been in a smoother sail there.
So Doc, Seahawks, panic meter button is out. Are you hitting that panic button?
I don't think so. They won last week against the 49ers.
I'll bring it back then. I'll agree with you. Not hitting that panic button, but their defense is still very suspect.
No, I don't. So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go there because, honestly, the Bills might have just came in.
No, a chip on their shoulder because they heard what you said. We just explained this.
Yeah, but no, the Seahawks might have traveled to Buffalo, and Buffalo just had their ticket, and that's it. That's all you can really say. They had their ticket. Any given Sunday, ticket punched.
That's pretty funny.
Chiefs versus who do we have here?
The Panthers.
Which the Panthers were battling.
So I know a lot of people want to say this is a trap game. The Panthers are much better than what people give them credit for.
They're not going to come in and spank us.
Like, they have lost a lot of games pretty close. They're not as bad as their record shows. They fight. No, and they gave the Chiefs all it's worth. And yes, they won because of a missed field goal. Mm-hmm. But they still fought.
Christian McCaffrey had 10 catches for 82 yards. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I just know that he had a great game. I didn't even see what he had. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, this would be what the Panthers should have been all season. They probably would have been 500, honestly. Maybe even a game over 500 if they still had Christian McCaffrey the whole year.
Yeah, the whole year. And they lost him after that Bucs game in the beginning of the season. And
yep.
Mike Davis, I think, did very well. I think they started using Curtis Samuel as that Christian McCaffrey role, like running and passing it to him. They kind of switched it up a little bit. But like you said, a missed field goal. Now the question is, the Chiefs, who struggled on more than one occasion, obviously they're 8-1. Do we say panic for them? They've been winning the close ones, but
they haven't won the close ones.
These are a lot of close ones.
I'm not going to hit the panic button yet.
Okay.
And here's why. They still have Patrick Mahomes, who can casually give you 300 yards and about 4 TDs a game. So they're always still going to be in the game. And I feel like they'll probably get that slap in the back of the head to finally go, okay, we need to start playing like the reigning, undisputed National Football League Super Bowl champions of the world. And I think that's going to happen. So I'm not going to hit that panic meter yet. I think they're still trying to bring Le'Veon Bell into the fray still. Tyreek Hill is still one of the best receivers in the league. Travis Kelce had 10 receptions for 150, pretty much 160 yards on Sunday. It's hard to hit the panic meter when they still have great offensive production numbers like that. It's always back down to the defense, and defense has pretty much been the theme for this season. A lot of defenses are just playing subpar, like Doc like to say.
Yeah, speaking of subpar, let's just move on to another exciting game. The no charges, no. Another game, I'm going to just say, I don't know if it's any blown leads. I just think that they're just not scoring enough points. We're just going with it like that. They're just not scoring enough points. And I think ultimately this is very sad. That's going to get the old head coach fired, I feel like.
He's not getting fired. Well,
new quarterback.
I think he'll get a pass this season, unless there's a must talk about college football coach that they want to bring through.
That Harbaugh guy probably gonna get fired. He ain't doing good in Michigan either.
That's actually pretty funny. That is actually pretty funny. But he's not coming back to the NFL though.
He should. Oh my God, he should. Oh my God.
No, but we'll have to wait and see though, because we don't know what the rumor mill is going to be for college football coaches getting some interest with the NFL. I mean,
that's true.
It can still happen, but right now, I don't think the coach is going to get fired for the Chargers, and we'll see what happens. But they're 2-6 right now. They're probably this is literally what happened with the Bucs.
No, without question, it really is. But you see that. I mean, no, they weren't doing too well last year. That's the only reason I'm saying this, that it could happen this year.
And last year was kind of weird for them too. Of course, they had injuries to deal with, and Phillip Rivers was playing, less than phenomenal whatsoever, which didn't help out anything too, because he just kept on throwing picks. He throws a TD, great. Then he throws 3 picks afterwards. Oh, why?
And Justin Herbert's really, really playing well. So
yes.
I think this is another one of those situations where the fact that they lost Eckler in the beginning of the season, that kind of really, really hurt them. But we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yep. And of course, Keenan Allen still gets no love about being a top receiver in the league. And I think people need to start having that conversation with him in there too.
No, without question. So let's jump over to the Raiders really quickly here. Subpar game. I don't really think it's, they won. This is the Raiders team.
This is just this. If the Chargers didn't consume as much clock, because I believe so if the Chargers haven't consumed as much clock as they've done and not produce better outcomes for their drives, the Raiders would have lost this game. This is not a story about the Raiders offense. I don't think their offense is that good, in my opinion.
Jay Ritty would have been just a little madder, huh?
Jay Ritty's going to have to suck it up like a grown man, because his team offense is really, really bad, and Josh Jacobs isn't playing like the back he was last season. That's just facts.
Sounds like the Bucs.
That's just facts, though.
No, it is facts. It is facts. But, I mean, that's football in a nutshell this week. Let's take a quick break and come back with more Debate Amongst Friends.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to stay on the gridiron. And we are at the midway point of the season, Doc. And like we do every single season, we like to do these mid-season awards. So, Doc, are you ready? Because I am.
Let's do it, Bobby.
And let's get this list going on. Let's start from the top. The most valuable player in the National Football League. Doc, who do you got? And why?
I think if I had to choose, it's so tough because, before 2 weeks ago, which is so crazy when you look at this little list here, we would have all been talking about, Henry. But now that they've been slacking a little bit.
Slacking pretty badly. A little bit.
Even Tannehill. I mean, people were talking about Tannehill. Honestly, and I don't know if this is counting yesterday's games, but I would have to give it to Mahomes, I guess.
I can understand that.
He's the only person that really, I think he's the only person that really, to me, remains consistent outside of like the Oakland game. And that might be one of the games, like one of the worst games in the last 2 years that I've seen him play.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Patrick Mahomes gets the nod for MVP. I feel like prior to Sunday's game, it would have been Russell Wilson for me, but he just did not play well at all.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out to the Bills.
Yeah, like the Bills defense, like the Bills Mafia ran wild over some Seahawks. Of course, the talk of Aaron Rodgers is still out there. Now we still got Josh Allen, who had an incredible game. We mentioned that Heisman moment game.
I don't think he's gonna be in that conversation.
No, well, he's no longer in the conversation. I mean, I'm just saying, he had his Heisman moment game, but it doesn't mean he'll win the MVP.
Honestly, I think before Sunday's game, you would have had to throw maybe Tom Brady in there, 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and I think he was 5th in passing.
Yep.
But now that he's,
I don't think people would have put him in the conversation though. I can understand why you say that, but I don't think he wouldn't be in my list still, unfortunately.
I think he would. To me, I think people were talking about it prior to these last 2 games. Really, I think people were talking about it. He's, like I said, 5th in passing.
Yep.
You had 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's really looking good, but it's just falling off.
I can understand that. Well, let's move on. Offensive player of the year, Doc. Who do you got and why?
Offensive player of the year, I probably would have put Derrick Henry here. Honestly, I see who they have here, but I probably would have put Derrick Henry here, or I may have put I don't know. I don't think it would be Alvin Kamara because he missed a couple games.
He has
missed a couple games.
He has too.
Devontae Adams
missed a couple of games.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, if you're gonna put these people here, then we might as well put Christian McCaffrey here.
And of course, Doc is referencing the Ringers article where they have Alvin Kamara as the Offensive Player of the Year for the midseason. And I agree with you as well. I think they gave Alvin Kamara because of his all-purpose yards, runner-up Dalvin Cook because of his league-leading rushing touchdowns, and Devontae Adams, who is still playing like a beast, but they all missed games this season. And
missed games.
Derrick Henry's been consistent, but he just had some less than Derrick Henry-esque games, I guess you could say.
No, definitely.
I mean, would we consider anyone else though outside of those 4?
Outside of those 4, probably if I had to throw a name in the hat, which hopefully he shows up later, it might be DK Metcalf.
I can see DK Metcalf, who's been on a world path. Also, the receiver from Kansas City. He could probably be in the conversation too. Yep.
Yeah, he's always balling. I think that it's kind of weird the way they do this, but I can see why they wouldn't put him in, only because the ball gets spread around so much. See, Devontae Adams, obviously, the ball goes to him. Kamara, him, Cook. I don't think Thielen gets as many touches as he used to. So.
No, not as much as he used to.
So I think, I can see. I get it. This is a tough one, though. I could see somebody else getting it outside of the people mentioned here, though.
All right, let's go next. Defensive Player of the Year, Doc. Who do you got and why?
Based on what I've seen, I probably would give it to T.J. Watt.
I actually agree with you. I think T.J. Watt's been an absolute monster, helping the Steelers play top 3 defense in the league this year. Of course, they're still undefeated as well, which definitely had a lot to do with their defense. Of course, him helming the front line for them.
I think Aaron Donald is a monster. I'm not sure why this article has Myles Garrett up there. I think he's playing okay, but I don't think he's on the same level as Aaron Donald and T.J. Watt from what I've seen.
No, as soon as they started talking about Derrick Rose and LeBron James, I kind of stopped paying attention to that part.
I understand completely. But yeah, I would say TJ Watt for me.
I can agree with you. Coach of the year, Doc. Who do you got? Who's your coach of the year?
Coach of the year. Well, I know who's not coach of the year, and that's Adam Gates. I wish there was a not coach of the year.
No, there was a coach that needs to be fired of the year. That's Adam Gates.
Oh my God! The one thing I am happy with, and I'll give credit to the Ringer, is that both of these coaches that they have listed here are African American, which is awesome. But I probably would say Mike Tomlin before Brian Flores, even though what Brian Flores is doing in Miami is amazing. Awesome.
Yep.
But the team is undefeated. Let's just call it.
It's Mike Tomlin. Hands down. He probably should have won Coach of the Year last year as well, too, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they're still not giving him love. And he has a great win-loss record, too. So, stop it, guys.
He's doing a great job. Do a great job.
Comeback player of the year, Doc. Who do you got?
Comeback player of the year. That's a good one.
We do have a lot of people.
I don't like these choices. It's not really comebacks to me. I mean,
Big Ben was out last year, so I would say he could probably be good. I can understand why they added Teddy Bridgewater because the problem is
last year though.
He played last year though, so it's. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I understand why they would say Alex Smith because of course we mentioned before the earlier segment that he came back from that horrific injury from 2 seasons ago.
But he wasn't starting.
When he got injured.
No, he wasn't when he came back.
No, he wasn't starting, but he's starting now.
I mean, yeah, he's starting now because Kyle Allen just went down. It's like, how can you call somebody a comeback player if they don't get their job back?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I would give it to probably Big Ben, I guess.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Gronk has not done anything spectacular.
Except for one game.
One, maybe.
Or maybe a game and a half or something like that.
Possibly.
But no, I would not give it to Rob Gronkowski, and the Ringer should be ashamed of themselves for even putting that in there.
They really, really should.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Doc. We talked back and forth about this one. They had Justin Herbert. They got Joe Burrows. Justin Jefferson is having a year, despite the fact that his team is just something. I don't know what they are, but they're something.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure myself. I personally would give it to Joe. I like Joe a little bit better than Justin. I mean, like I said, I like Justin a lot. Justin Herbert, that is.
Yep.
But Joe Burrow is really, really trying to will that Cincinnati Bengals team to win, and he really, really has really made some huge leaps. But I do like Justin Herbert and what he's done, but I'm going to stick with Joe.
I am going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say Justin Herbert. I think despite the fact that he was a beneficiary of the Tyrod Taylor elevation program, I think he has a great upside. I think all they really need to do is add like a piece or two to really make that team dangerous. And he was thrown into the wolves and had a great game. I believe it was against. No, it was before they played the Buccaneers. Actually, it was the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
And he had an incredible debut. Joe Burrow, we know exactly he's going to be playing an uphill battle out there in Cincinnati. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do. He's going to, bring some magic into it, but they still have a long way to go. But I understand he still puts up stats, but this is the Kevin Love situation. You're big fish in a small pond kind of situation.
Big fish in a small pond.
And finally, we have Defensive Rookie of the Year. Doc, who you got?
I think I'm torn between the Panthers' Jeremy Chin and Antoine Winfield Jr. I think he played really, really well. Like, I like Chase Young, but he, again, was hurt a couple games. I probably would give it to Chin over Winfield because Jeremy Chin has really played great football. Not too many people talk about him because the Panthers have been losing, but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
really,
a lot of people
good.
are only putting like the top seeded or the top drafted people for some of these lists without actually like understanding stuff.
No, he's been really, really good. But Chase Young is an easier pick because obviously he's the number 2 pick. But he's definitely been injured. He's been hurt, and I guess they're at the Ringer article. They're just giving it to him because he leads the rookies in sacks and hurries. But at the end of the day, I think Chin and Winfield have a bigger impact.
I can probably see Chin more than Winfield. I am with you with that. I feel like Winfield hasn't done I feel like people only know about Antoine Winfield's name because of the end of the Giants game, and not so much as the other stuff that he's doing. Right. Which is a shame. Same thing with Chin. But I would probably give it to Chin though. I think he's been playing great. I think the Carolina defense plays great at times. Of course, they can always get better. And, I mean, he has a huge upside for him, in all honesty.
Yeah. No, definitely. And the Panthers usually do turn out some really, really good defensive backs. Hopefully he sticks around. Honestly, after a while, they end up always losing them.
Yep.
So hopefully keep these guys around and keep balling.
I agree. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more Debate Amongst Friends right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of every show, we like to do what's called the 2-minute drill, where we go over stories and headlines that we didn't get a chance to cover during the show. This past weekend, we had the Notre Dame Fighting Irish beat up on the Clemson Tigers. However, that was not the story. They stormed the field. Yes, the fans, you listening right now, you were out there. I saw you. You all stormed the field, and now Notre Dame mandates COVID testing for everybody. Prof?
Stupid. Not stupid, though. The Seattle Seahawks and Coach Pete Carroll agrees on a 5-year contract extension. We do not have the numbers on the term of the contract, but he will be among the highest paid coaches in the league. Back to you, Doc.
Well deserved. Pete's been really, really coaching up a storm. Some NBA news, some dates, and I guess other figures were announced this past weekend. So free agency for the NBA will begin on November 20th. The NBA draft will be November 18th, and training camps will open on December 1st as the NBA has agreed to restart this season with a regular 72-game season on December 22nd. I know that they were looking at Christmas games, but it looks like they decided to start right before Christmas, which is awesome. Prof?
And finally, for me, the NFL fined the Raiders $500,000 and John Gruden $150,000, and also took their 2021 6th-round draft pick for repeated COVID protocol violations. Back to you, Doc.
And that is all we have for today's show. Be sure to tune back in next week for more analysis, more debate, and the reads.
Thank you for listening to Debate Amongst Friends. Give us a follow on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can also listen to all of our Debate Amongst Friends podcasts here on Anchor, as well as Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and iTunes.
And like we always say, goodbye, mwah, and to all, a good night. LASG.
Peace,